All right, we are live. I'm the Mole, and welcome to Mole's Nerd Stream 2.38. Lots of other numbers. It's really actually just two, but welcome. We don't bring up politics. We talk about whatever strikes our fancy as long as it's not heavy hearted. Everybody like to introduce themselves?
Sure.
No.
Just silence.
All right, since I'm talking, I'm a very dead horse. My channel is a very dead horse, so also my Twitter. So
I am Mad Women Muses, otherwise known as Maddie or Maddie the News Chick. You can find me at MWM Media because that's a whole lot easier to say.
Much shorter.
Yep.
Maddie also has a morning news show called The Morning Brew. It's at 9:30 Eastern. Does that sound? Is that the correct time?
10:30 Eastern.
10:30 Eastern. I'm sorry. 9:30 my time.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Nobody.
Yeah, guess I'll go. I'm nobody. I have no content, so don't subscribe to me.
Thank you.
That's pretty much the same with me. I'm Candid Lynn. I don't put out anything.
There's freebies.
That's how the rumors say.
Double up.
all right.
Where's freebies? Boy, aren't you guys just full of optimism?
There were two reactions to Candid Lynn's statement: either a heavy sigh or a well shit.
I don't do anything.
A strange combination of the
I
both.
don't do goddamn thing. I don't do anything except for go to law school and support my old man, and yeah, you don't do shit.
Yeah, just normal shit.
Yeah. I wouldn't say you don't do nothing though. You're quite busy.
Yeah, I am, but I enjoy what I do, and I love hanging out with friends. So
Right on. She doesn't make content, but she streams a lot, so
that's true.
we'll start streaming on her channel one of these days. We'll make her do it.
Broadcasted to all of the 3 subscribers I have too.
Well,
which
no,
I
if
know
you get all of us on there, then people who follow us might subscribe to your channel.
That's the way it works.
where I
Yeah,
never
that's
put
how
out
I got
anything.
most of my subs. I'm sure
Yeah.
Horse is similar,
Yeah, pretty much.
Works.
Shout out from Sargon didn't help. I mean, didn't hurt.
Yeah, your first stream, dude, you had people on there. I'm like, oh my god, how the hell did you get these people? That was a great stream.
Buy them.
I'm just asked them nicely.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was good, not bad for your first stream, that's for sure.
Oh, I meant the YouTube link, by the way, not the Twitter link,
Oh,
not the Hangout link.
I was
sorry.
saying, yeah, okay, I'll send you that too. Hold on a second. I was gonna go that way anyway.
I was like, I don't think you want me to tweet out the Hangout link.
Ah, fuck it, you can. Just let everybody in. I'm like Oprah. You get a link, you get a link, you get a link. No, I'm not quite that bad. Did anybody watch Social Rex stream last night?
No.
No, I sure didn't.
It was actually not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Have you guys been watching the Orville?
No,
Oh, yeah.
I've heard it's good though. I want to watch it.
It's pretty good. I like it. I wasn't expecting to like it, so, but
You were pleasantly surprised.
I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, it hasn't let me down so far.
That's
Yeah, I
always
mean,
good. Sorry when you.
the premise is supposed to be a parody of, and it's like, holy crap, it's more Star Trek than Star Trek.
Yeah, the Marvel.
I mean, it's rather surprising.
I've heard that about that.
Mhm.
Almost like Seth MacFarlane writes what he thinks is good instead of what he thinks the audience will let him pay.
Yeah. I mean, you can really tell with the way that he's written the stories and the way he's trying to get all the characters, introduced, that he wants to stay true to the spirit of Star Trek and what everybody knows Star Trek to be. Because the stories are solid, and like Star Trek has always done, it does tackle social issues, but it's not in your face.
Right.
Which is really, really good. And the characters mesh really well. And I mean, the one main difference, other than the fact that it's, no Star Trek insignia or anything like that, they joke around with each other a lot, which isn't what happens, in regular Star Trek series. I mean, they did with Data in some respects, trying to teach him humor and emotion and stuff like that. But in this one, they're joking around, they're palling around a whole lot more. I think that's Seth's humor going through, and it works.
Yeah, and adding in 21st century things like Real Housewives.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
The Seinfeld thing was really, just little things that just kind of grounded a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about it too much without giving too much away.
Well, I mean, spoiler alert. I couldn't believe the captain died in the 4th episode. I don't know how they're going to replace Seth MacFarlane. For anybody who hasn't seen it, bummer.
All right, spoiler shit happens.
Yeah.
I'm a book reader more than anything anyway.
Oh, you want to talk about Mein Kampf?
Never read that.
Funny that you should mention it when he was talking about my first stream, failure accomplished. Straight up pull up Mein Kampf. We were just all here talking about stuff, and all of a sudden you just see him reading over there, and like, what are you reading? Just has it like right there in front of his face. It's like, man, this guy really didn't like Jews. Not a fan. Not a fan.
I always thought that was just like a rumor, like a kind of a media thing. Is that true? Wow. I got to read up on Hitler.
I remember
seems like an awful person.
being on a stream with Failure, and he got quiet all of a sudden, and he wasn't answering anybody. And we're like, Failure, are you there? Failure, are you there? Oh, sorry, I'm in another stream.
Yeah, he does that.
Dude!
You get a wrench. You get a wrench. You get a wrench.
Mm-mm-mm.
Want a wrench untitled?
Yay.
Get a wrench.
Sweet.
Everybody gets in, everybody gets a wrench.
Yeah, that's one way to find out if like I got new viewers or if it's someone's been here before.
That's my orgy policy too.
You got one too,
You
Ronan.
get a wrench? It's your orgy policy?
Everybody gets in, everybody gets a wrench.
Yeah.
My orgies are violent.
You get a wrench. Well, it's just one way that I know who's been here and who hasn't,
I'm scared to ask for you
Nice
to
tags,
elaborate.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh shit! Who's
I only see
Can you
part
hear
of
me
it.
now?
Good.
He's hiding something that he doesn't. Well, there it is.
There you go. Showing off the
Hiding that
promo
stash.
pop filter.
See, he tried to go for porn stash, but the sunglasses tell me 70s cop.
He looks like
Dude, you just
like
need to
that
go
dude
pick
from
you up a
Hackers.
cop hat.
I feel like I need to show him my license and registration.
Actually, in the thumbnail with his hair short like that and those glasses on, he sort of reminds me of Robert Englund before the wrinkles.
Oh, before he got burned out.
Before he started looking like actual Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
He reminds me of a few meth head friends of my meth head mom that I knew when I was a kid.
Probably was one of those friends.
Quite possibly.
Oh, he switched the
Yeah.
glasses.
Oh, there you go.
Aw.
Less methy.
Now he looks a little more porny.
With
Or
the
it's
stash.
he's wearing bottom
Nah,
glasses.
he looks a little more IT right now.
What are you playing, Untitled? Or who? Nobody. What are you playing? What is it?
Some game I just started playing called Bendy and the Ink Machine because it was free.
Oh,
Oh, my kid.
is it like a horror type game?
Supposedly, but I already can't figure out what to do. I feel like the guy who played Cuphead.
You know, I absolutely refuse to let them watch this, but they continue to try to because FGTV does it. And I'm like, no, I don't care. You can't watch it.
But this is a freaky image.
How old's your oldest?
6. He just turned 6.
Oh yeah, my son will be 5 the 12th, and he's like 5 going on 14.
The 12th is my birthday. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, well happy early birthday.
Thank you. I'll be 28.
I'll be a little bit older than that. My next birthday.
My youngest, he turns 5 on the 9th, November 9th. But we do both of their birthdays like around my birthday usually. Oh. That's the big party we just had.
I've been saying I turned 29 for 11 years in a row now, so I'm actually 40.
I turn 25 next month.
25? Jeez, you old fart, you.
No, her brain's just finishing.
I know.
I'm just finishing.
Well,
25.
That's a weird way to put it.
I'm just getting ready to come out of the oven.
I feel like you should install timers.
Her soft spot's finally toughening up.
No more
it's okay.
space necessary.
She grew all new soft spots.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ.
Well.
That was funny. I didn't admit.
It's finally time to stop baking before you become a burnout.
And nobody just added to it.
For what?
Well, when I get a new computer, I'll actually be able to play games, like stream them instead of, like actually stream them, like through OBS instead of,
Right.
So,
hey, now, when you play Star Trek Online, which one is it, Maddie? I want to make sure I downloaded the right one.
It's the one I got off of Steam. I think if Ronan is still paying attention, he's probably listening to me. He's probably going to whine because he's playing it too. As a matter of fact, my good friend Mitch is addicted to it. It's just simply called Star Trek Online, I think.
I seen the different packages had different names, or different missions had different names. So I didn't know if I got the right one or not. Hold on, let's see if I can find it anywhere.
Did that back when it first came out.
Staggerson, you're so mean.
What?
Staggerson mean? That's crazy talk.
Yeah, Stags would never be mean. He's a big old teddy bear.
He's not mean. He just doesn't suffer shit lightly. That's all.
Oh, that's
like Howdy.
That's what I'm gonna start saying. I'm not a cunt. I just don't suffer fools easily. That's what I'm.
Howdy. You're saying shit like howdy. You put on timeout.
Who put me in timeout?
She's from Texas. She can't saying howdy.
I'm from Texas. I can say howdy.
I'm from
Howdy,
Texas.
darling.
I'm from Texas, y'all.
You can't help but say howdy. You're from Texas.
Damn you.
That's right.
What part of Texas?
Who did it?
Dallas.
Who put me in timeout?
I'm from San Antonio.
Oh, man.
Oh, I've been there.
That's fucked up. But we shouldn't let anybody leave till we find out who fucking did it.
Yeah, it's like murder mystery. Which one do you did?
In the group side chat there, Mole, I put the game ID. Just so
Okay,
you
cool.
can...
Do I have to take away your wrenches, guys? I did not give them to you to abuse your
I
power.
don't care.
I don't even know if I have it.
No. You don't understand. You don't understand. Deserve
Come
that
in,
shit.
turn this car around.
You don't understand.
I will do it.
Burgers are bad.
No, look, he earned that timeout by being the only person right there that I could see in the chat that didn't have a wrench.
Without a wrench.
Oh, you don't have a wrench, horse?
Well, you're the one giving them out.
Oh, I didn't see your chat, sir. I thought I gave everybody one.
And yes.
I can't go to the chat. I'm on my phone.
Poor horse. He's so left out.
I kind of feel like you shouldn't give him a wrench now, though.
That'd be being species.
I wouldn't. You can't trust him. I already caught him once without one.
Well, I believe in second. I believe in second chances, sir.
He'll probably just lose the fucking thing.
Shut
Have to
up.
put on timeout again.
You were right, Lane. Drugs are bad.
Drugs are
Probably
bad.
not all of them.
Drugs are bad.
Oh, Lane's in the chat and Stags is picking on him. Okay.
Mm.
I get it now. Hey guys,
I
dreams come true.
wasn't picking on Lane.
I'm not picking on him. He knows where the link is. He knows he's welcome.
I've
We're not
been
talking about nothing
admonished not to pick on him
too
anymore.
heavy.
So I stopped.
We're just talking about nerdy type stuff. Has anybody read good books lately?
I'm
I've been
rereading
listening-
Time Machine.
Time Machine by H.G. Wells.
Yeah, I've been
That Time Machine.
wait to pick up my kids after school. I always show up just a little bit early so I can find a parking spot, so I don't have to wait in the massive line. And
Right.
So I'm reading this book with like giants and boats and shit. Got like this dude named Jesus in it.
Ah, that would be the
That sounds
Bible.
interesting.
About the Bible.
Yeah, I figured it out at
That
boats
was the
and
joke.
giants, by the way.
That was the joke.
That
You
book's
didn't
too
have to
heavy.
mention Jesus.
It's a good book.
Too heavy.
I've been listening to the First Secret Histories novel, but slow going.
Is it growing on you yet?
Not yet. It's a long book.
Yeah, it is.
But then I've got Monster Hunter Files to get into as soon as that's over, and I'm really looking forward to that. Larry Correa is just the best.
Yeah, Larry Correa is a good author. I like him. I'm real reading Neil Gaiman's Stardust, right? Or is it Stardust?
Yeah, that's one of his.
No.
Stardust, yeah. I couldn't remember if it was Stardust or Starlight. I knew it was Star something.
I was a big fan of Neverwhere. Was really good.
Oh, if you like Neil Gaiman, check out Charles DeLint.
I never read that book.
Similar.
My favorite Neil Gaiman book is American Gods. That book is fun.
Well, everybody
Diamond.
likes American Gods. It's not even
Great
cool
book.
to say that anymore.
I thought you guys
I
were saying
read-
Neil Diamond.
I read it back when I was 18.
Well,
So that
it's
was
Gaiman, he
like
calls
20
it
years
Gaiman.
ago.
my stupid phone. It doesn't like to work when I'm sitting out in my backyard.
I thought we were talking about Neil Diamond.
You're roboting
Yeah,
pretty
he's
bad there, Mr.
roboting.
Horse, man.
I thought it was me.
Oh, he is
I am?
very dead.
Dead horse.
No.
You're
Refresh.
still a little robot-y.
Any better? Refreshing that shit.
If worst comes worst, hop out and hop back in. That should work.
Just refresh.
That's what I had to do.
Is it that his voice is roboting or that his programming is malfunctioning? Kill him now.
Scrambling the transmission.
It's the NSA. I tell you, the NSA.
Yeah, my phone doesn't screw up. My liberal husband does it.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's where we're sending all our really liberal Californians is down to Texas. We're slowly
he's a
taking
Tex-
over, apparently.
Mhm.
He's a Texan with super Republican parents, and he's liberal.
Huh.
Oh,
Super
I'm so sorry.
liberal. I know. It drives me
I
nuts.
don't know, my
So
parents
I'm
are
gonna
more
red
Republican.
pill you so hard, dude.
Who? Hi.
My husband.
Alrighty.
Oh.
I'm a big fan of great pilling.
I had to convince him that the wage gap wasn't a thing, and I still don't think he believes me.
Tell him you're a
Wait.
woman and he has to believe you.
He's a Republican and he believes that?
Yeah, he believes
confused.
that.
That's just the weird thing. Like it should be so easy to red pill the far left. You just have a woman or a black person or a black woman, preferably, tell them, and then they should instantly be red pilled because they have to listen.
All right.
I explained it to him, and he just, I don't know, doesn't get it.
Oh, that's weird.
He's super
Oh.
privileged that he grew up in like this bubble. I tried to explain to him the bubble that he grew up in where he would always be taken care of, and he doesn't quite get that.
Well, you got to understand, some religions are harder to get people out of than others.
Right?
Now, you wanna-
Is he super religious at all too?
No, no,
Was he
no.
raised religious?
Oh yeah, yeah. His parents are Church of Christ.
So
Are we talking religion and politics on this stream? Because I'm ready, man.
Oh,
I'm gonna dig it out.
So we were
We
talking
can
about
talk
nerd
about-
kid.
Yeah.
We can talk about religion
My
anytime.
channel.
It's just the politics I don't dig.
The one thing I will bring
This
up
is
with
my
that
channel.
is
I'm down.
people make the
Religion's
mistake.
always good.
So you're willing to burn down somebody else's house?
No,
When-
I'm just saying politics isn't my bag, but religion, I'm always up discussing
when
that.
people when people think of
What
religion,
she said. Whoever said that.
but when people think of religion, they make the mistake of thinking God. And what I've noticed a lot of the, like especially at the far left, sometimes the far right, their religion isn't necessarily a deistic one. If you have a faith and belief in something that is not supported by fact, you are damn close to getting into a religion.
Yeah, that's pretty much the definition of religion, almost. You know,
Right now, a doctorate in feminist theory is the same as a doctorate in divinity.
Oh,
he's
really?
not like a
Hey,
super
that's the
feminist.
same thing.
Oh,
Yeah, he doesn't like buy into all the feminist crap, but he does buy the wage gap. I think it's silly. I don't get why he buys that. I tried to explain. He doesn't listen.
it's
Did you
bizarre.
explain the 1970, either 73 or 63 equal pay like law? I mean,
I told him
Yeah, I think it was
go
like
be the plumber.
63.
Did you
So
explain
I
the
could
difference
have gone
between
to
age
school
and
like, my brothers and been a plumber and I'd be making the same money as they do. He goes, well, why don't you go do that? Because I've got kids. The hours aren't good. It's dangerous work. I don't want to do it because I have kids and shit to do here. And he's like, see, you're kind of proving my point. I was like, no, I'm kind of proving mine.
Right.
The society told you not to. That's why. Patriarchy.
No, it's personal choice, man. I don't fucking want to do it. I'm sick. I have kids. It's not fucking worth it to me.
I'm sick that people don't think that there's a difference between men and women biologically. We think differently. We're shaped differently.
Men are better in every way.
We're different. We're not better. We're just different. It's just we have
we're
different. We have
complimenting
different
acts.
attributes. Exactly. Us women and men together. If they're mentally in well-being, then they should make a whole. But most people are sick.
It's the
That's like me and
man's
him, we
job
might
to
butt-
pursue sex. It's the woman's job to lay there and accept it. I am really good at this. Everybody agree with me?
Ooh, Charles
Yeah,
Durant.
that's
I've never
why-
heard of him.
he is the
Me and Cubby
original
might-
urban fantasy writer.
Do you like James Butcher?
I don't
He goes
know
by Jim,
either.
sir. He goes by Jim.
President Files?
You like E.E.
I was
Knight?
asking. Or Simon R. Green or Larry Correa. Who's some other ones? Nobody.
You pretty much named all the ones I love.
I got it
there's-
this, but it's way up.
There's a lot of female authors, but I haven't really gotten into any of their books yet.
Oh, I can't
But I hear they're good.
remember. Sir, I keep talking over people because my
Oh, go ahead.
service sucks. And
You're okay.
I start at the same time as them.
I will defer to you as is appropriate.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I can't remember who wrote it. There's actually a really good book you should look up called "Ask Me No Questions." It's like what is that theory? It's a what do they call it when someone falls in love with their kidnapper? It's one of those stories.
Stockholm Syndrome. I'm sorry, you're right.
Stockholm. There you go. It's a really good like Stockholm Syndrome story, but they don't like really fall in love because it's like a kid and an older dude. And it's hard to explain. It's really
sexy.
well written.
Ooh, has anybody, speaking of Munchausen, has anybody seen the movie The Adventures of Baron Munchausen?
Uh-uh.
Oh, that is a fucking weird movie. It's from the 80s.
Uh-uh.
I've never seen it. It's worth a watch. It very loosely follows the story of Jason and the Argonauts, but very differently.
Huh.
But it's kind of this guy who is trying to gather he's this aged adventurer who's telling the story of kind of like he was a hero at one point, and he's got to regather his friends after years apart, and they're kind of these, they've all got these special abilities like the Argonauts, but they're all kind of old.
Now, Munchausen syndrome is where you hurt yourself for attention.
For attention.
And then Munchausen by proxy is where you hurt other people for attention. Correct? Okay.
Exactly.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So Munchausen by proxy is just good sense.
Yeah, I was telling people at work, I said, there's got to be at least one person, like 500 plus injured in Vegas. I'm going to give it that there is one person who shot themselves just so they could claim they were a victim. I'm going to say there's one. I'm going to say there's 517 actually. One person who said, "Bam, me too."
It's believable. I mean, I would. There's some nuts out there, dude.
I hope it's not the case, but I'm just, odds are it's probably one.
It's believable.
Okay, that was freaky.
We're down to like some guy coming.
Oh,
the fuck?
That's not secret if you put it in chat.
Oh yeah, and I just forgot to mention that I was actually Skittles. That this is my alt channel.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Skittles.
Yeah, Skittles with stabby pants.
Just go with this one. It sounds better.
Oh, you sounded awfully familiar.
Yeah, you were in one of my streams, Mo. I remember that.
Yeah. I'm a burnout, though. I have memory of goldfish. Well, maybe not that. That's a bad analogy. So what's new with everybody? Anybody had anything exciting happen to him this week?
Besides meeting your mom, not much.
Oh, you met my mom? How does she look after being dead for the last 10 years?
He was out.
Part of the skeleton army.
Dry. She looked dry.
Yeah, I imagine she would. I wonder about how long it takes people to decompose, with all the preservatives and shit in our body.
Tags.
Why do they even bother?
Tags, were you out munging again?
Oh, God,
I can't find anybody to go with me, so I've been trying to figure out how to do it myself.
I can't see why not.
It doesn't work the same, man. It's
so bad.
I'm trying to jump up and land on her with my knees. It just doesn't. It doesn't work the same as having four guys hop on her guts.
Well, what you do is you rig up and like an anvil on a rope, and then you can just release it right when you're in position.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't need friends. You just need a little ingenuity.
Yeah, well, in an anvil.
Yeah. I mean, the less people you take with you in a case like that, it's probably better because someone's going to rat on you.
You've already got the one corpse, right? Just grab another corpse and use that as the anvil.
Right? Like a counterweight.
Come on, man. Do I have to do all the thinking for you?
Wore out. When the one gets wore out, I could just switch it around.
See, now you're thinking.
Yeah.
I'm really upset now because I was trying to find this book so I could make sure that was the actual title because it's been a long time since I read it and I can't find it anywhere now. It was a super interesting story. Okay, the kid got kidnapped because her dad was high up in a company. He was about to invent something that was going to make a bunch of money, and the competing company wanted him distracted for a few days so they could do it first and get the money, basically. And the dude, he ends up, having to smack the girl to get her to listen and stuff because she's trying to escape, of course, because she's been kidnapped. But it explains really well Stockholm Syndrome and how she kind of grows to care for him because he sort of takes care of her. And when he takes her to this one creepy dude's house who tries to rape her, he breaks in the room and saves her. Even though he's kidnapping her and holding her, he's looking after her and she cares about him. So she doesn't tell him the name that she finds out might possibly be his real name to the police after they find her in the end. It's a super good story. It bugs me now that I can't figure out what this book was called and who wrote it.
Yeah, the only one I can find under that name when I Googled it was something about some chick going to Canada post 9/11 from India and being called a terrorist.
And it was a really old book I'd found in my great-grandmother's house. And one of those things you never find again, but it was a super good friggin' book.
I remember surprising the living crap out of my English lit teacher in high school when, first day back from summer break, she's getting to know her students. And she goes, did any of you do any reading over the summer? Usual question that teachers ask, well, at least lit teachers. And I said, yeah, I read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. You read that voluntarily? Yeah?
I used to get that a lot too.
I got in trouble in school once for reading a book, and it was because it wasn't the book we were supposed to be reading in school. I'm the only person I know that got in trouble in school for reading a book.
No, I'm the same way. I got in trouble because I finished with an assignment early, and I decided I wanted to read, after I was done with it. And my teacher was getting observed that day, so she was extra bitchy. And she came back and she picked up my assignment. She's like, it's all wrong. And she tore it and took my book and told me to redo it.
Oh, bitch.
And I did it exactly the same because I was right and she was just an asshole. And so she confiscated it, didn't give it back to me at the end of the day. My dad had to drive up and get it for me, which my dad is an absolute asshole. So he drove his motorcycle and parked it on the sidewalk in front of the glass doors that led into my school. Walked in and his biker shit, so he looks 100% white trash, and cussed her out. So it was just not. It was not a pretty picture, but it was funny. She never messed with me again.
My parents were kind of like that too. When you're in school, most teachers are like, "I'll call your parents." All I had to do is threaten to call my mom. They'd be like, "No, don't get hasty. You don't have to call your mom. We'll get this figured out."
You're like, "Bitch, do it."
That's what I thought. Bitch.
I was one of those kids that when they threatened to call my mom, I'd be like, please
right.
do it.
I'll dial the phone number for you, motherfucker.
Right.
Come on, let's call it right now.
I had one teacher, I didn't realize my freaking homeroom teacher was paying attention to the books that I was bringing from home, because it was 10th grade and I was alternating between Ed McBain, which is police procedure mystery novels, and Stephen King. So I'd read one Ed McBain, one Stephen King, and go back and forth like that. And after she saw the second Ed McBain book, she goes, okay, who are you reading? I went, Ed McBain? She goes, who is that? And I just looked at her like,
McBain was?
You have no clue who Ed McBain is? She goes, no, not a single clue. I said, do you like police procedure mystery novels? Yeah. And I held up the book. You're going to like these.
Yeah, he's like the godfather of police procedure mysteries.
Yeah. I mean, that, and I had a friend of mine when I was reading Thinner, she goes, I don't understand how a book can scare you. I said, okay, start here on this page and stop when you get to this page. About halfway through, I saw her shudder, and I went, that's how he does it. Now can I have my book back?
In the 4th grade, I got in trouble for trying to check out a book that was above my AR level. And when I told them I can read this book, I want to read this book, that they had to start an argument about it and say no. So my mom forced them to test me, and I had to prove I was at college level reading so I could check out and read whatever fucking book I wanted to, finally.
Indeed.
Oh, Stacks took the camera off. Yay.
Well, he was the only one who had it up.
Stags, you need to redo your image to reflect the porn stash.
Show me a new one.
Yeah, that cost him already, so you know.
I want to say I would, but you're not going to want to make it your image.
And one of my mom's
A giant dick with a porn stash.
One of my mom's friends tried to get me to read romance novels, and I gave it a shot. I mean, I gave it my best shot. Gave her back the book after 2 days. She goes, "Did you read it?" I said, "I tried." She goes, "What happened?" I fell asleep on page 3.
I've read a couple that I like, but not many. Yeah.
That's why chapter 1 is free.
That's the problem I have when I bid for jobs as a freelance writer is, if they don't say it flat out, it'll be during the interview process. But most of the time when they're looking for a fiction writer to ghostwrite for them, it's for a freaking romance novel. I'm like, I'm sorry. I can't read those. I'm not writing those. If you want me to work some sort of a love interest into sci-fi or fantasy, I can do that. But if you want a straight romance novel, no.
Are you still doing your creative writing thing on your Discord?
Yeah, I still got my writer's workshop in my Discord.
Because I wouldn't mind joining that.
Me either.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to probably start it up in November for anybody that's interested, because November is a interesting time for me because I'm getting this idea in my head, and there's this website called NaNoWriMo.org. And they challenge you to write a 50,000-word novel in 30 days, which is 1,667 words a day.
Cool. Because I love to read, and I like to write, but I could use some. I mean, you could always get better. You know, I could use some tips and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's in there.
So I'm a little torn on the game that I just played. It's free. But what?
It sucks. It's dumb.
Okay. Sure. Well, the first chapter is free, but the consequent the subsequent chapters, which are DLC, are pay. So now I'm kind of curious where the story goes, because that's kind of what it seems to be. It seems to be a game you play for the story. But I would probably wait until all the chapters come out and they sell it as a bundle, like on a deal, before I got it. Because it seems to be an interesting premise. Seems like a cartoonist essentially turns his workshop into a place to summon a demon, and the demon kind of gets bound into the form of the cartoon character that he uses to make his money. And then I guess the story is of you now ending up in this place after something horrible.
It does sound like an interesting premise for a game.
Trying to. It reminds me of, I don't know if anybody of you ever played a computer game back in the day called The Seventh Guest.
No, I can't say that I have.
Seventh Guest is an interesting. It was essentially a puzzle game, but it took place in this abandoned mansion that was haunted, and the story behind it is really good and really creepy. And the idea is, the last time anybody was seen in the mansion, the guy who owned it invited 6 guests to spend the night, and they were never heard from again. Well, a 7th guest, an uninvited guest, a local kid, snuck in on a dare and also vanished. So you're there looking for that extra person.
Ooh,
and a lot of creepy shit happens. It's pretty. The puzzles were interesting. The game was actually really spooky for its time. This is back in the early '90s. You can get it on Steam, I think.
Sounds like a pretty interesting premise.
Yeah, it does. I like games with a definite storyline. It's like I had Ronan tried to get me into WoW, and since I really didn't know much of the lore, it was just a game where I just ran around and killed shit.
Well, some of the best story for the 7th Guest is actually in the prologue. It's the idea of this guy who is destitute, living on the streets, and then one night he has a dream of a doll, and he becomes obsessed with the dream and decides to make the doll. And then the next night he's in a tavern trying to get a place to sleep, and the tavern owner sees the doll and is coincidentally looking for a gift for his daughter's birthday. So he offers to take the doll in exchange for a place to sleep. And then when he's sleeping in his bed that night, he has more dreams and begins making more toys, and he becomes the celebrated toy maker and becomes very rich to the point where he's able to build his mansion. And then one night, all of the kids who own one of his toys begin getting very, very sick, to the point where they eventually all die. And then he kind of goes insane and becomes a recluse inside his mansion.
Too much lead in the toys?
Who knows? Something evil speaking to him from beyond. But, I like good dark stories like that. I was always a fan of the Hellraiser movies. The idea.
Those are some pretty good movies.
What?
Those are some pretty good movies.
Yeah, they are.
Because I'm like, all hack and slash horror movies are not bad, but I kind of have a fondness for the ones that are more psychologically.
Yeah, one of my favorite Hellraiser movies was one of the straight to DVD ones. It was like the 6th one or something, and this dude is trying to find this killer that kidnapped this little boy, and the end of the movie, basically ends up cycling, and he finds a puzzle box at one point. But the whole thing is he's actually, I think he turned out to be the murderer, and basically what he's living is his own personal hell, where he can't stop the crazy version of himself from murdering people, and every time he catches him, it starts over again. Every time he fails to catch him, it starts over again. And so he just has to live it for eternity.
Oh, that does sound pretty cool. Did anybody ever see like the Wishmaster movies? Those were pretty dark horror. Those were good.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a better version of the one that just came out, Wish-A-Pop.
Yeah.
Like Wishmaster was a better version of that same premise.
I will always remember the part where she tries to go all religious to get away from it, and she ends up reading the part of the Bible where it says, you know, if your right hand offends you, chop it off. So she chops off 2 of her fingers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't remember that. It's been a while since I've seen the original.
I remember that vividly, and it was when I was a child that I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would get stuck in your head as a kid.
Yeah.
That reminds me of. Did you ever see the movie Stigmata?
Mhm.
There was a scene in the movie where the guy, I think a priest is quoting a passage from the Bible. No, it was something she wrote in a fugue state, and he translates. She wrote it in another language, and it was something like, "Go to the farthest star, there you'll find me. Go crack open a leaf, and there I'll be." And the priest read that as something like, "I'll always be there for you," and she read it as like a stalker saying, "You can never get away from me." I was like, different interpretations of the same words. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's the point of the living word.
Yeah. I was like, I had a friend of mine. He looked at me. He goes, "You know," he was kind of smirking when he said it. He goes, "You realize the word Bible is an acronym?" I said, "No, it's not. It's the name of the book." He goes, "No, it's an acronym."
It literally means book.
No, I said, "Okay, smarty pants. What is Bible an acronym for?" He goes, "Basic instructions before leaving Earth."
Nice.
So, if you find a way to make yourself immortal, does it really matter if you have religion, even if religion is real?
No, not at that point.
Yeah, if you've never seen the Bible, don't worry about it. You're not going to die. That only happens if you've seen it.
If you've
So you know how to do it.
if you've read Tuck Everlasting, you know being immortal isn't always fun.
I was a big fan of the Highlander movies.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
First one was good. The one where they made him out to be aliens sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the second one is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's great if you watch it ironically.
Yeah.
That movie never fucking happened.
Yeah.
Fucking, what's his name? The dude. No, one of my favorite scenes.
Mandela effect. That's the Mandela effect right there. Anybody who remembers Sean Connery
Are you
coming from
telling me
outer
the planet
space
Zeist isn't real?
is suffering from Mandela effect.
Like the third Never-Ending Story movie.
Oh.
The one with Jack Black in it.
Never happened.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
There are lots of things we wish.
You notice in the third Highlander movie they carried on as though the second movie had never
Yeah,
happened.
because they were smart.
Yeah.
No,
Because
like,
they
wait the fuck up
realized
a minute.
Well, yeah, but the third Highlander movie is almost a fucking remake of the first one.
Yeah.
Same
Sounds like-
exact kind of bad guy.
No.
There's
I was
several,
a fan of the series.
there's several movies if you're a fandom of that particular thing that you hope that you wish never happened. Superman 3, Superman 4.
Pretty bad, Maddie.
Superman Returns.
Oh, I liked Superman. The one where he turned into like different Supermans and fought himself.
That would be the third one, I believe.
Oh, that was the best. That was so terrible.
Superman 4: The Revenge.
A really badass movie they never fucked up with a sequel was Down Periscope.
Oh, so good.
Yes, that one was
That
so
was
good.
an amazing
I
movie.
remember somebody. I was telling somebody once. I said you'd be depressed if you knew how accurate parts of that movie were.
Who remembers
Just drop
the
45
first?
cents. Are you sure? Yeah, 1 quarter, 2 nickels, and a dime.
Does anybody remember the very first Land Before Time?
Yeah.
Vaguely.
That
I
was
didn't
my
watch the
childhood.
18 sequels.
making
I've
them
watched most of
stupid musicals and shit.
No, the original one was basically a prehistoric remake of Bambi.
I remember noticing Ducky's. Oh,
Oops. She just had a problem.
sorry, my little one wanted me to help him find his tiger.
I guess your kids are more important than us.
I told him it's probably in the playroom.
Crazy, right?
But I remember being a kid and noticing Ducky's voice change, and my mom just kind of glossed over it, like, no, same voice, hush.
Oh,
I
she was murdered.
Yeah, her dad murdered her.
Hey, has anybody seen the Phantom Toll Booth? Like
I haven't seen it, but I love the book.
Yeah.
I
I
was,
have a question. Who mentioned Wishmaster?
I did.
Me.
Oh, she did.
Oh,
Sorry, I was talking about
both
she
of
did.
you?
She mentioned it. Well,
I
she mentioned it, but I remember it. So,
I want to
both of them
thank you
together.
because there's something that like there's a scene from like one of the movies that I remember from like watching when I was younger, and I've been trying to find out like what that was, like what that movie was for the longest time. For a while, I thought it was like a TV show, or that I was just crazy. Maybe a weird combination of the two.
Oh, don't worry, you're still crazy.
Thank you. But no, I ended up like looking it up because I'm like, that sounds so familiar. And it is. It's exactly what I like remembered from a kid because it was that whole like Valentine's like escape and like the water scene.
Oh, yes.
So I thought like I remember like seeing that when I was younger and I'm like, that must be it. Because it's not Hellraiser or any of these other horror things that I've tried to find. So I just got really happy, and I'm gonna go like binge watch that like tomorrow.
Speaking
I'll
of
also go
wishes,
for
so
it.
Thank you for that.
has anybody heard
You're
about this
welcome.
whole live action Aladdin thing that we're looking at doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what really surprises me? I've mentioned this to a couple of people here, so they probably remember this. Nobody in the social justice side of things has noticed, apparently, that the one character in the movie who is flat out a slave is they cast a black man as. That's the genie. The genie is 100% a slave to that lamp. It's actually stated in the original Disney movie.
Don't give
That
them
is
something else
fucking
to bitch about.
Oh, come on, I really want him to.
Anyway,
No,
the
I'm.
genie's not blue. It's just like a black dude. Not even in like blue makeup.
It's live action.
Ah,
Hey,
so-
don't put black people in blue makeup. Have we learned nothing from The Amazing Spider-Man 2?
How dare they make anything Aladdin and think they can replace Robin fucking Williams? They
They're
wrote
running-
the part for him.
Amanda, they're running out of ideas. That's why they're converting all their animated movies into live action.
When I think Robin Williams, I think Will Smith. Personally.
Oh, is that who it is?
But
Will
they-
Smith is going
Well,
to be
yeah,
the
that's what I'm
genie?
saying. Will Smith is going to be the genie.
I would have preferred
Are you
Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, but he's gone a
Will
little
Smith.
nutty after his wife died.
Is he going to rap all the songs?
Oh, that'd be great. Oh, wait, no. Shaquille O'Neal should have played the genie.
Oh God, no,
I
no,
wanted
no!
to see that shit.
I'm all over.
Oh, they can't use Robin Williams' songs. He had like a contract with them. They can't use his shit.
Well, what's he going to do
dead.
soon?
That's true. But his family might. I don't know. That contract might include his family and shit. Like they might have to write new songs. Robin Williams wrote the genie's stuff. It's his.
It depends on the contract and what he signed away with his copyright rights.
And he would be so
Yes.
mad. No, he was very specific in that, and he got super mad at like the studio and stuff because they were supposed to downplay his role in that movie. He took the least amount of money they could legally pay him, and he wanted the genie like barely in the advertisements and stuff, and they totally disregarded him and did a bunch of that and made a bunch of toys with his voice, and they weren't supposed to. And they apologized to him after that, so he'd be super pissed if they used his songs.
Yeah, but
He's
wasn't
dead, though.
Robin Williams like a known joke thief? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
kind of
Not
ironic
that
in a
I've
way.
never
Not
heard.
to my knowledge.
I've never heard Robin Williams. He was a
I don't know how
pioneer
you
of
know.
comedy.
I don't know how you.
No, go ahead.
I say the way Robin Williams did comedy, I don't see how he could steal it from anybody.
No, he would use people's
no, he
jokes
was
and then
never-
like, cut him a check. He would like write them a check afterwards, be like, "Here's like a few hundred or a few grand or something like that."
Oh, that he bought their jokes
after the fact, after he'd already used them.
Yeah. Better to ask.
Hey, what was that weird? What was that weird ass movie he was in where his wife died and he tried to commit suicide so we could go find her?
What dreams may come.
I have that on.
That always come up.
Weird, man.
Yo, that
I believe it
movie
was
fucking
Centennial
awesome.
Man.
It was good, but it was just weird.
It was a
he
fun movie,
dies
right?
is what happens, and then his wife
Yeah.
kills herself because she's so sad, and he has to go find her
Oh,
in the
okay.
afterlife.
It's
and
been a
save
while since I watched it.
Yeah, and then he meets his kids. Like one's a stewardess, and the other one's like I forget what the other one is.
a black
We're
dude.
getting here. Became a black man. His other son was.
He became a black dude. It was a stewardess, Asian chick, and a black dude. That's what his
It
kids
was.
became.
He was the first transracial person in a movie.
In the chat, that's not gonna wrench.
What?
Hold up.
Who's that? Is it somebody cool?
You haven't already blocked
No,
him
I'm
yet?
just kidding.
Oh,
I don't know who it is.
Phoenix. I've seen them around recently.
Block. User timeout.
Who are you timing out now?
Nobody. I'm just fucking around.
Stag is just abusing his power.
I won't do it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, he's still not blocked. Stags is definitely not abusing his power yet.
Yeah.
He's behaving.
No. I'm behaving.
There's an
I'm being
abuse power.
I'm being a good boy.
My husband actually physically cringes when I say being have, so I have to say it right. Say behaving. Everybody in my family, we've always said the kids are being have. It's fine. We go do what we want.
Hmm.
He's like, what the fuck? You can't say that.
No, you can't.
It's
Wrong.
I grew up with my mom being an English major, so there were certain things in the house I couldn't say. And whenever I slipped up and said fixing to, she'd go, something right? Ain't got none, always made her eye twitch.
I'm never that particular, and I was an English major, and I'm a law student now. So, I mean, language is my thing. I just sort of embrace any sort of little quirks I have.
Yeah, little colloquialisms, however you say it.
Yeah.
In my family, we say being have.
Which, if I went up northeast and try to do that with because I'd sound very southern to them, even though I don't think I have much of an accent, and it'd be endearing. So I'd probably win over a lot of juries that way. Or they could just think I'm a bumbling retard. It's a coin flip at this point.
Fuck what other people think anyway, right?
I mean, if you're an attorney, you want them to like you and not think you're a dick. Nobody votes for a dick. It's a popularity contest every time.
I mean, you get paid either way, though, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And then there's my cousin who's an attorney who used to be reasonable. Now it seemed like the brain got sucked out of his head.
It went into his penis. It all goes south eventually.
I was like, he's 2 years younger than me, and I'm like, he posts some, way left shit. And the last time he posted some, before I took my break on Facebook, I literally commented, dude, you're a lawyer.
Completely.
Research and make sure this shit is accurate, please.
I'm a lawyer. I don't have to research. I just have to argue.
Yeah.
I mean, people are people regardless of their profession. So, I mean, you're going to have some people who don't do as much research in their personal lives.
Yeah.
And they're just going to, throw their dick around.
Yeah,
See who they can slap in the face with it, It's just.
God gave men 2 heads and only enough blood to run one at a time.
Absolutely. That is absolutely true.
I like to think that with most men, though, they must have a super bitchy woman behind them. Because like a happy, well-fed, well-sexed man will not be that big of a dick in his day-to-day life.
Yeah, we have no reason to be.
At that point, they're just like Jello.
I'm not
Yeah,
well sexed, and I'm not a big dick in my everyday life.
My husband's super, super nice.
I do whack it a lot, though.
Mm.
I remember my mom, she looked at me one day when I was in high school, and I said, "You gave Dad some, didn't you?" She goes, "How the hell? He was grumpy yesterday. He's whistling with a spring in his step today. Just a yes or no. I don't need details. Just a yes or no, and I'm good. You gave him? Yes. Okay." She says, "Is that obvious?" I said, "When he's grumpy the day before and he has a smile on his face and a spring in his step and he's cracking jokes before coffee, yes, it's noticeable."
Yeah, one morning my mother-in-law is like asking me why we overslept, and you know, 'cause she was supposed to come pick up my son for school, and it's like, well, I mean, you don't really want to know that I was up till 2 a.m. banging your son, but that's why we overslept.
Did you say that to her?
No, God, no.
You should.
Holy shit! You were about to get all the respect from me.
I could never. No, man, she would have a heart attack.
Oh, that would have been so funny, though.
We've been negotiating
What
with
I
the stork
thought
on
about it,
date.
I couldn't. No,
All right,
man,
guys.
oh man, no,
I
that'd
don't know
have been
about
bad.
you, but I have a job tomorrow, so I need to take off.
Well, thanks for coming, brother. Take it easy. Have fun at work tomorrow.
You guys don't talk about anything fun without me. Oh shit, MC's here.
We won't.
Hi, MC. How are you, buddy?
Tired.
Sneaking. That was my answer too.
What's new, Buckaroo?
Mainly just working.
Night Amanda, Night Lynn, Night.
It's working.
Had a ton of stuff come in.
Adulting.
Bye, nobody.
Night Mole, Night Untitled.
Night,
Everybody
buddy.
else said to everybody. Didn't leave anybody
Good
out.
night.
Buddy.
He did the Sound of Music thing on that.
That guy is such a dick.
You talk shit now that he's gone. Haha.
I met him in real life. It's a fuckhead.
I met him in real life too, and he walked me to my car, made sure I got there safe. He's a sweetheart.
That he did. He's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
That's cute. Or maybe he walked you to your car so he could get your plate and stalk you.
I mean, you know, it'd be kind of hard considering we're like opposite coasts, but it may be a viable option.
Thanks, Eric Brown, whoever you are, for subbing to me.
He slipped a GPS on there. You didn't notice.
Well, I mean, I had a few at that point, so probably wouldn't have noticed if he did.
You're a moderator now, man. It means you can put people who aren't moderators on timeout, but there aren't anybody who aren't
Yeah.
moderators.
That's my way of keeping track of who's been in my channel and who hasn't.
And to keep stacks
Your
from like
mark.
timing him out.
Yeah.
I only did that to a very dead horse.
And they're friends.
Where'd he go?
His computer was fucking jacking up, so.
Oh, he's a dickhead too.
Oh, that's a clever name. Somebody was named Nobody Important,
Yes.
just so that they could put Nobody Important left the group chat when they leave. So it says that.
He used to just say nobody. I thought that was cooler because it's like nobody has joined the chat. Yeah, but yeah, somebody did.
You sound all Mitch Hedbergy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That sounded like that guy.
Mitch Hedberg's a badass. Was.
Too much
If I could
heroin.
make anyone
Too much
immortal,
heroin.
it'd be him and George Carlin.
Yeah, I miss George Carlin.
I don't
He
think
would
I
be
like George
pissed.
Carlin as much as everybody else does.
George
wish he
Carlin was a
was
badass.
Because
That,
Yeah, he was.
He was pretty
He
cool.
was a super cool comedian, and he was the conductor in this awesome Thomas the Train show when I was a kid. He was like, he was tiny, but he was the conductor. It was cool. You have to watch it.
well, apparently a lot of George Carlin's material he would run by with his brother and come up with his brother. So I've always wondered if there was any possibility his brother might ever do like a tribute or something, or just talk about it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Carrying on the family tradition or something they could call it. I don't know.
Yeah,
An
it's still all
asshole
behind
like
the
my
scenes, Pete.
brother.
Well, to do real good comedy, you need timing.
Well, he had it in spades, man.
Oh yeah. George Carlin did, but I'm just saying his brother may not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he just came out and did like a little like sort of this is what it was like hanging out with my brother kind of thing, I think it would work, as opposed to trying to do like the stand up.
Oh yeah. I mean, people would watch it, yeah. But I mean, I was hoping to carry on the legacy, you know, so I continues the joking, you know.
Dude, that's like Willie Nelson's son. Have you heard him? He sounds just like his daddy.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
his son sounds just like his daddy. Gonna have some more Willie coming out.
Is he a singer?
Yeah, he sings just like his freaking father does. Like they go
Well, I mean,
on tour.
as a career, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Well, I
as
mean,
a-
I know at least that he goes on tour with his dad. I don't know that he has like his own name in the music industry at the moment.
Have you ever heard Hank Third? He sounds like his granddad a lot.
I have not. I'll have to check it out.
He's cool. It's like outlaw country. It's like metal and country kind of mixture. It's pretty cool. Punk. There's like punk influence too.
I like when
Who
they
did?
blend country the right. There's even some country and rap blends that are done
Oh,
right, and some
I
that's
I
not.
have to disagree with that. Rap and country don't mix.
I think I've heard like one. I can't even remember what it was, but there was one that I liked. I thought they did it right.
Oh, well, maybe one, but as a rule, my opinion, they don't mix.
But the one proves the rule that they could do it right. It's just not done right often.
You gotta find the exception to the rule.
Could do it
Yes,
right,
the
but
exception proves the rule.
it's kind of like olives and ice cream.
Ew,
I
what?
like olives and I like ice cream, but I wouldn't want the two together.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You have never been a pregnant chick. I know some pregnant chicks that eat some weird ass shit.
You rap horrorcore? Ducks. Yeah, I guess
This
so.
sounds different. I've never
They've been
heard.
doing country rap for a while, but now they're trying to do like this rap country stuff.
And horrorcore mix, so it's like Ice and Pete
Like-
does country.
Like there's been hip hop with country influence. You know what I
Well,
mean? But
For a long time, that
hip
song,
hop is influencing the country music, and it's garbage. I think.
"Say My Name" is totally a ripoff of that David Allan Coe song.
Which one?
You don't have to call me darling,
Oh,
darling.
yeah. The best country and western song ever written. I think
Yes.
that's the name of it.
Yes, the best fucking song ever. But "Say My Name" totally ripped that off.
I bet that wouldn't be too bad. Bagels with cream cheese and pickles. I don't like sweet pickles though. Ugh.
I like sweet pickles.
I like dill pickles though. Dill pickles and shit.
All right, my kid
So
keeps coming out here telling me to come in, so I gotta run.
All right, take it easy. So Orville is worth watching. They have that on demand, right?
Oh, I've heard about that. Is it worth it?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
No, it's not.
No? Okay.
Why do I get the feeling that Stagger's
Nothing on TV is worth watching.
I haven't watched you in so long.
I watched Once
I'm
Upon a
actually,
Time.
I'm actually watching Lucifer. Lucifer's pretty good.
Lucifer is a good show, dude.
I honestly don't know if Orville's worth watching or not, man. Don't take my word for it, but do take my word. Nothing. Watch. That's true.
When it comes to like opinions on shows and stuff, I always watch my own because everybody's got a different opinion.
Yeah, everybody has their own view of
I just-
shows.
Yeah.
You know, things that they like, things that for whatever reason pique their interest, and other things that for whatever reason they just absolutely can't stand things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed Riverdale, but almost everybody universally doesn't like that one.
I liked Riverdale.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I loved it.
I liked the murder mystery. I mean, I didn't see it coming until toward the end. Then I seen it coming, but I mean, that was a great plot twist.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just waiting for Veronica's dad to show up. I'm hoping they get a season 2 on that.
That would be interesting.
And I thought Jughead was surprising though. Like,
yeah, he was
the character to be taller, because in the comics he's taller.
Yeah, and dumb. Like he was never exactly what you call a brain in the comics. Remember?
Oh yeah, no, he was never the brightest character.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I like murder mystery type shows, like especially British ones, like Father Brown. That's a great show. It's a British murder mystery.
I've never seen that one.
It's pretty good. It's on Netflix. I like the Canadian one a lot too. It's like supposed to be like during like late Victorian, earlier Edwardian era in Canada, and it's kind of like almost Sherlock Holmesy. Like it's about a detective that solves crime using like science and stuff like that. It's pretty neat. It's called the Murdoch Mysteries. If you ever get a chance, check it out. I think the first 7 seasons are on Netflix.
7 seasons, good lord. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So it's a good show, though. It's a pretty good show. Pretty good show. So does everybody get tomorrow off for the holiday, or does everybody got to work? What's up?
I have tomorrow off.
It's a holiday?
Yeah, tomorrow. Most people have to work Columbus Day and a real holiday to people like us. But
it's technically a banking holiday, but it's not a banking holiday that my the Swedish company recognizes.
Oh well, some people got to work. Shit happens.
Yeah, I'm debating if it depends on the weather, because we're getting like that Hurricane Nate stuff. But if it's nice, then I was going to take my little pupper to the dog park.
This sounds like fun.
It's getting close to my bedtime if I want to be halfway conscious for my news show in the morning.
Right, right.
I usually get up between 6:30 and 7 to start hunting everything.
Yeah, you start drinking coffee. That way you're awake by the time 10:30 rolls around.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks for coming. I'll probably be there in the morning too if I'm awake in time.
Thank you for the invite for your stream. I had a good time.
Thank you, Maddie. Take it easy. You're welcome anytime, hon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Maddie.
I think my job is the best. I get paid to sleep, so.
That is an awesome job.
Hmm?
What do you do?
Oh, I work with mentally ill people, and so it's like just a regular house where people live. And they have to have 24-hour supervision, so I get paid to sleep there for 8 hours a night.
That's cool. It's like it's a home care. It's private care facility.
It's a nonprofit that is contracted through the county, so it's sort of private, sort of public kind of thing.
Well, I used to work in mental health care too. I was a CNA for 18 years, but I worked in a home setting.
Oh, these are residential treatment programs. If that
right, but I mean similar people though. People with developmental disabilities, people with are most of your people developmentally disabled?
No. We used to have a program like that I worked at maybe like 10 years ago. But unfortunately, that one got phased out. It had to shut down and get transferred to a different company.
Oh, so these guys are actually mentally ill, like schizophrenic, shit like that?
Yeah, mental illness, like schizophrenic, massive depression, delusional disorders, a lot of personality disorders.
Huh.
It's essentially like teaching people how to like live outside of the hospital setting so that it's less...
Right.
Better for them and less expensive for everybody.
Kind of like a halfway house type thing?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. That's interesting. It's hard work too. People take that for shit for granted, but it's not easy work, dude.
It's not for everybody. I wouldn't call it hard work, but then I get paid to sleep.
It's not hard work, but it's not. I mean, it's not easy mentally either.
No, I've done the day shift where you actually work with clients and work out like stuff, and it's pretty tough. But
right now, third shift, you got it pretty gravy.
Yeah.
So that ain't too bad. How many people are in the house?
We have a total of 12.
12. That ain't too bad. So is it just you at night? There's no other staff?
Yeah, just me.
Okay.
I would say 99% of the time nothing happens, and then 1% of the time I gotta like deal with cops or hand out medications or something like that.
Right. Are you a nurse or are you an aide or what?
Fuck no. I'm just some dude who has a little bit of college and graduated high school.
So I mean, you'd be equivalent to like a certified nursing assistant, almost.
No.
No.
Anytime we have medications, we have to call like an actual doctor to get their opinion, their directions on how to handle meds. If it's not just the standard like what they need to take and normal.
What their normal dosages are.
Yeah, if they miss something or if they want to take something they're not prescribed, we have to call it and get it.
Right, or if they're all wound up, you can't just give them an Ativan on your own, can you? You have to have a doctor's order.
They have PRNs or as needed medications. That
I know what PRN.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying as needed because not everybody knows, but so stuff they can take when they want to.
Oh, okay.
And then so they can choose to take that. We can't medicate anybody forcibly. We don't use restraints. It's not a locked facility in any way.
Yeah, the restraints are very frowned upon these days.
In programs like mine, they should be, but in like a hospital setting, they probably shouldn't be frowned upon.
Well, they're frowned upon. They're still used, but there's so many guidelines you got to follow. Like, you got to let them go every like 15 minutes. Make sure blood flow isn't cut off. Stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'm just talking from like a safety standpoint. Like there's people who absolutely hurt themselves.
Certainly. There's times for they do need to be restrained for their own safety.
Yeah,
and others, not just their safety, and others.
Well, I mean that's the one major downfall I would say of the mental health system is there's no difference between criminally insane and insane as to where they go.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all in the same thing, and that's really unfair to people who just have mental illness.
That is very unfair. I've had people before that did not. They belonged in prison, not in a home, dude. They just they use the system to avoid going to prison.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Had a big old, and I'm a big guy. Like a big guy, and this dude made me look tiny, and he was a big old fucking white supremacist, racist gang, like KKK kind of group member from like just out of prison in one of our homes one time. That was entertaining. That was not fun.
That's a small world. That's crazy.
Yeah, he would play like heavy metal music in the middle of the night, and just everybody was so intimidated. Nobody would tell him to turn it down except for me because I was a staff member. But none of the clients would say
and he acted like a convict too. He tried to intimidate you and shit, didn't he?
No. Occasionally, I shaved my head, so he apparently thought that I was a racist, just like him. He would like tell me racist jokes, and I'm like, dude, I don't fucking want to hear this. My family's not white. Like, this is not cool.
That is crazy. I'll be right back, guys. I gotta go to the bathroom. You guys talk amongst yourself.
Now's the time for the awkward silence, right?
Pretty much. Everyone's gets real quiet.
Baby jokes.
Ooh, dead baby jokes. That sounds good.
Do you know how you make a dead baby float?
How?
Baby float? You add root beer and ice cream.
I like that one.
I don't know why, but the sound is very low. Sound for the stream is really low.
Oh, is it? I can't. Really
well, it's strange because if I listen to it, if I go and listen to it off of Google, off of YouTube, Then it's okay.
Yeah.
The volume is really good, but it's just on the hangout portion of it seems so low.
Oh, that's weird.
Maybe
What the reason would be for that, but
maybe it has a UTI. It's restricting the flow of sound. Sorry.
I wouldn't have any idea.
Oh, never mind. That was just a really obscure, terrible joke.
Get it? I'll tell you that.
UTI is a urinary tract infection, and when you get them, like, it can make it so you can't pee very well.
Oh
yeah.
It's really close to
I didn't hear the whole joke.
Oh.
UTI part.
It just went over your head. It's fine.
It went over my head. So I don't.
I got it. It's fine. One person here got it.
Yay. Well, I think women tend to get more UTIs than men, though. So I think that's a little more
I would say older women do, like ones in like their 40s and 50s. I would say not so much like younger people, because I figure once you're old, everything starts going to hell down there.
Pretty much. Can't argue that.
Not gonna have a reason to argue about it.
Just as you get older, just keep going younger.
Well, I'm probably the oldest person on the stream at the moment, but I'm not female, so I wouldn't know anything about that.
Ooh, now you gotta say it. Like, how old are you?
56.
Oh yeah, you beat me. I'm on.
Are you really?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Jesus Christ.
It's like you're almost dead, man.
Oh my God.
I'm on the other side.
Yeah, I mentioned my age earlier, and I'm super young.
Well, at least you're past the brain cooking stage where it's like everything is finally like fully matured and cooked.
I don't know. I have a few weeks left. I could fuck up hugely in that amount of time. There's still time.
Age is not a requirement for screwing up. Trust me. you don't get past it. You can still screw up no matter what age you're in.
Oh, I like to let people have their delusions, though. Think like, oh no, I finally reached that age where I'm not going to keep messing up.
Oh dear.
No, it's like Sam Kinison said. It never ends. It just never ends.
Yep. It's like high school never ends. The bowling for soup thing.
Oh God.
The what?
Oh, Bowling for Soup is a band, and they had a song called High School Never Ends that I found disturbingly accurate throughout my life.
Works,
like
disturbing.
I mean, people change clicks, but the clicks always exist.
Oh, that's true. I see some in my real life, and some of them are like super catty and bitchy, to the point where I just find them to be disgusting human beings. I really can't say more than that. Otherwise, like, if they ever came across this, it would be oddly specific, and it wouldn't be good.
What was it? I used to do a lot of swing dancing, and I also did a lot of blues dancing.
Like East Coast or West Coast swing?
East Coast, West Coast, and Lindy Hop.
I gotcha.
And I actually got to the point where I probably could have started teaching Lindy Hop, but I wasn't really into it as much as I was into blues dancing. But it was entertaining because like the two communities like hated each other a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was people that would do both, but then there was also these like little cliques of like hardcore swing dancers and hardcore blues dancers, even though it's all from the same era. And they would just like not like each other. It was just such a silly thing. It was very entertaining.
I can do a mean West Coast swing, but I always just liked that one more because it was just easier for me. But I mean, I loved all dancing. I took ballroom for a few years.
Oh, right on. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like, the only thing that I wanted to learn that I never really had a chance to was the tango, specifically the Argentine tango, because I thought that would be really fun. I always thought that professional dancers, not the Dancing with the Stars shit, but like real dancers when they do that. It's so elegant and just so beautiful when you get the right partner.
I learned a little bit of the Argentinian tango because a lot of people would mix it into their blues dance, and that was a lot of fun, but it was very technical and very difficult to learn.
Yeah, and that's why I guess people usually don't approach it. I did have like one person when it was like people would normally like do like waltzes or that kind of thing, try to like teach me just like the normal tango. And that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. And the guy was a great teacher and he didn't have to take his time to do that. But it was just a really great studio where everybody was really supportive. And once, you know, they got to know you, they were your friend and they wanted to see you do better.
Yeah, one of the tougher parts of the tango that I always found was Ochoa's, which is sort of walking almost in like a figure eight, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that felt really unnatural. That was a trip. Oh, did we lose Staggerson?
I guess so. It's a bummer.
Looks like he bounced, yeah.
Goodbye, Staggerson.
Bye, Stags. Maybe just resetting something and then
we're just slowly going to